The message came through while I was reviewing acquisition contracts for the Riverside Estate portfolio. I was in my office on the 42nd floor of the Century Tower, looking out at the city skyline, when my phone buzzed. A text from my younger sister, Chelsea. Chelsea, we need to talk about the wedding. Me. Okay. What's up? Chelsea, Brandon and I have been talking. We've worked really hard on the aesthetic for our day. Everything is very carefully curated. Very elegant. I waited. The three dots appeared and disappeared several times. Chelsea, the thing is you don't really fit the vibe we're going for. Brandon thinks it would be better if you didn't come. I agree. We can't have you ruining our aesthetic. I stared at the screen. Me. You're uninviting me from your wedding because I'd ruin the aesthetic? Chelsea, don't make it sound bad. It's just that you dress kind of frumpy and you don't really photograph well. Our photographer is expensive and we want cohesive pictures. You understand, right? Before I could respond, my mother chimed into the conversation. Mom, Chelsea has a point, Morgan. This is her special day. She and Brandon have invested so much in making it perfect. Maybe it's better if you sit this one out. I read the messages 3 times. My own sister. My own mother. Me. Understood. Chelsea, thanks for being cool about this. We'll do lunch after the honeymoon to celebrate. I set my phone down and returned to the contract I'd been reviewing. A $12 million acquisition of a boutique hotel in the historic district. Then I opened my calendar and checked the date of Chelsea's wedding. June 15th, Saturday. The Riverside Estate. I smiled. Chelsea and I had never been particularly close, but we hadn't been enemies either. She was 5 years younger, and we'd simply existed in different orbits. She'd always been the pretty one. Thin, fashionable, photogenic. She'd majored in communications at a private college our parents had paid for. After graduation, she'd worked as a social media manager for a boutique fitness studio, making about $42,000 a year. She'd met Brandon 6 months ago at a networking event. He was a real estate agent, moderately successful, good-looking, drove a leased BMW. They'd gotten engaged after 4 months of dating. The wedding planning had consumed the entire family for the past 2 months. Chelsea posted constant updates on Instagram. Mom was involved in every decision. Dad complained about the costs, but always gave in. I'd been peripherally involved. I'd been invited to the engagement party, though Chelsea had asked me to please try to look nice for once. I'd sent a generous gift from the registry. I'd RSVP'd yes to the wedding. But apparently, my presence was now a problem. I wasn't surprised if I was being honest. Chelsea had always been dismissive of me. I was the older sister who didn't fit her aesthetic. I wore practical clothes, kept my hair simple, didn't obsess over makeup or fashion trends. You could be pretty if you tried, she'd told me once. You just don't care enough. She was wrong about the caring part. I just had different priorities. Like building a real estate empire. What my family didn't know, what they'd never bothered to ask about, was what I actually did for a living. They knew I worked in real estate. They knew I had an office downtown. They assumed I was a property manager or maybe a real estate agent like Brandon. They had no idea I was the founder and CEO of Morrison Properties, one of the fastest-growing boutique real estate investment firms in the region. I'd started the company 8 years ago with money I'd saved working as a commercial real estate analyst. I'd identified undervalued properties in emerging neighborhoods. I'd renovated, repositioned, and either sold or held them for rental income. The company had grown strategically. We now owned 43 properties across the state, apartment buildings, commercial spaces, boutique hotels, event venues. Our portfolio was worth approximately $280 million. Last year's revenue was $67 million. My personal net worth was somewhere around $95 million, though it fluctuated with the market. I drove a practical Subaru because I didn't care about cars. I wore simple clothes because I spent my days in board meetings and property inspections, not fashion shows. I lived in a nice but understated condo because I was never home. I was always working. My family had interpreted all of this as lack of success. They'd never asked about my company. They'd never asked about my properties. When I tried to explain what I did, Their eyes glazed over. Real estate is so boring, Chelsea had said once. All those numbers and contracts. I could never. Mom had been equally dismissive. It's nice that you have a stable job, Morgan. Not everyone needs to be glamorous. They decided I was the unsuccessful, unfashionable older sister. And I'd let them believe it because, frankly, I was too busy building an empire to care about their opinions. But now they'd crossed a line. Chelsea was getting married at the Riverside Estate. My Riverside Estate. I'd purchased the property 3 years ago for $8 million. It had been a neglected historic mansion on 12 acres of riverfront land. I'd spent $4 million renovating it into the region's most exclusive wedding and event venue. We hosted maybe 20 weddings a year, highly curated, extremely expensive. The venue fee alone was $75,000. Most couples spent between $200,000 and $300,000 total by the time they factored in catering, photography, florals, and other services. Chelsea's wedding was costing approximately $220,000, based on the package I'd seen her book. She had no idea she was getting married at my property. None of them did. The week before the wedding, I had a meeting with the Riverside Estate's venue manager, David. The Parker Morrison wedding is this Saturday, he said, reviewing his tablet. Everything is on track. The bride has been demanding. I smiled. Chelsea is my sister. David's eyes widened. Your sister? Does she know you own?
No.
And I'd like to keep it that way. For now. Oh. He looked delighted. This is going to be interesting. I want everything to be perfect for her day.
Spero no pense.
Give her everything she's asked for and more. I want it to be the most beautiful wedding Riverside has ever hosted. You're being incredibly generous considering she uninvited you. I told David about the text messages during our previous meeting. He'd been appalled. She's still my sister. And she deserves a beautiful wedding day. She just doesn't deserve to know who made it possible. Not yet. When will you tell her? I'm thinking right when they arrive. When she's feeling most confident about her perfect aesthetic day. David grinned. I'll make sure I'm there for that conversation. We went over every detail. The floral arrangements. Chelsea had chosen peonies and garden roses, extremely expensive. The 5-course, plated dinner. The champagne tower. The live band. The late-night dessert bar. Everything was perfect. Everything was mine. In the days leading up to the wedding, the family group chat was relentless. Mom, only 3 more days until our beautiful bride walks down the aisle. Dad, can't believe how much this wedding is costing. But anything for our little girl. Chelsea, I can't wait for everyone to see the venue. It's absolutely perfect. So elegant and exclusive. Brandon, we really knocked it out of the park with Riverside. Best venue in the state. Aunt Linda, I'm so excited. Is Morgan coming? Awkward silence in the chat. Mom, Morgan has other commitments that weekend. But she's celebrating with us in spirit. Chelsea, yeah, she totally understands. This day is really about Brandon and me anyway. I read the messages and said nothing. My cousin Jessica texted me privately. Did they really uninvite you from the wedding? Me, yep. I'd ruin the aesthetic. Jessica, that's insane.
I'm so sorry.
Are you okay? Me, I'm perfect. Trust me. Jessica, if you want company this weekend, let me know. We can do a spa day or something. Me, thanks, but I actually have plans. I'll be busy Saturday. I wasn't lying. I would be very busy on Saturday. Just not in the way Jessica imagined. Saturday morning, I woke up early and went to the Riverside Estate to do a final walkthrough. The property looked spectacular. The gardens were in full bloom. The ceremony space was set up perfectly under ancient oak trees draped with fabric and flowers. The reception tent was elegant and romantic, with crystal chandeliers and long tables dressed in ivory linens. David met me at the main house. Everything's ready. The florist just finished. Catering arrives in 2 hours. The band is setting up at 1. It's beautiful. It really is. Your sister has excellent taste. Expensive taste, but excellent.
She always has.
She just never had the money to execute it. Until now. Because you're paying for it. Indirectly. I'd comped their venue fee. They thought they'd gotten an incredible deal through Brandon's real estate connections. In reality, I'd instructed David to offer them a special discount that covered $75,000. I'd essentially paid for a quarter of my sister's wedding. The sister who'd uninvited me because I'd ruined her aesthetic. What time do they arrive? I asked. Bride and bridal party are scheduled for noon. Groom and groomsmen at 2. Ceremony at 5. Perfect. I'll be in the office when they arrive. Text me. I went to the small office I maintained in the estate's carriage house. It was private, tucked away from the main event spaces. I could see the driveway from the window. At 11:57 a.m., a white limousine pulled up. My phone buzzed. David, they're here. I watched as Chelsea emerged from the limo in yoga pants and a tank top, her hair in curlers. The bridesmaids piled out behind her, 6 women in matching athleisure, all carrying garment bags. Mom got out last, already directing everyone like a general commanding troops. I waited 5 minutes, then walked to the main house. I entered through the side entrance and waited in the main foyer. David was greeting Chelsea and her entourage, explaining where the bridal suite was located. When I stepped into view, Chelsea was mid-sentence, talking about the mimosa bar she'd requested. When she saw me, she stopped talking. Her face registered confusion, then annoyance. Morgan? What are you doing here?
Chelsea. Mom.
Everyone. Mom looked equally confused. Morgan, this is Chelsea's wedding day. What are you? David stepped forward smoothly. Ms. Morrison is here because she owns the Riverside estate. She wanted to personally ensure everything was perfect for her sister's wedding. The silence was absolute. Chelsea stared at me.
What?
I own this venue, I said calmly. I've owned it for 3 years. I bought it, renovated it, and turned it into what you see today. That's not possible, Chelsea said. You work in property management. I'm a real estate investor. I own Morrison Properties. Riverside Estate is part of my portfolio. Mom's face had gone white. You own this place?
Yes.
I also own the boutique hotel in the historic district where you're staying tonight, and the apartment building where Aunt Linda lives, and about 40 other properties across the state. One of the bridesmaids whispered, "Oh my God." Chelsea was shaking her head.
No.
No, this doesn't make sense. You drive a Subaru. You wear clothes from Target. You live in a tiny condo. I drive a Subaru because it's reliable. I wear practical clothes because I work. And my condo is 2,000 square feet with a city view, which is plenty for one person. But none of that has anything to do with my net worth. Which is what? Mom asked weakly. Approximately $95 million. Give or take, depending on market fluctuations. Another bridesmaid gasped. Chelsea looked like she might faint. David was trying very hard not to smile. So, I continued, when you texted me 2 weeks ago to uninvite me because I'd ruin your aesthetic, you were actually uninviting me from my own property. From a wedding that I'm indirectly funding, since I comped your $75,000 venue fee. You what? Chelsea's voice was barely a whisper. I gave you a free venue. David told you Brandon's real estate connections got you a special deal. That deal was me deciding to gift my sister a beautiful wedding venue, despite the fact that she told me I wasn't photogenic enough to attend. Mom sat down on one of the foyer benches. She looked genuinely shocked. Why didn't you tell us? She asked. When should I have told you, Mom? During Sunday dinners where you talked about Chelsea's Instagram engagement for an hour? During the engagement party where you asked me to try to look nice for once? When, exactly, was I supposed to mention that I'm worth $95 million? No one answered. Chelsea was crying now. Real tears, ruining her makeup. I didn't know. I didn't know.
You didn't ask.
None of you did. You decided who I was based on what car I drive and where I shop. You never looked deeper. I'm so sorry, Chelsea sobbed. I'm so sorry. Are you sorry you judged me, or are you sorry you got caught? She didn't answer. I looked at David. Is everything ready for the day? Yes, ma'am. Everything is perfect. Good. I turned back to Chelsea. You're going to have a beautiful wedding day. Everything you asked for, plus some extras I added. The flowers are perfect. The food is exceptional. The band is talented. This will be exactly the elegant, aesthetic day you wanted. Morgan, she started. But I won't be here. Not because you uninvited me, but because I have better things to do than watch people who dismissed me for years suddenly pretend they value me now that they know my net worth. Enjoy your wedding, Chelsea. It's on me. Literally. I walked toward the door. Wait. Mom stood up. Morgan, please. We need to talk about this. Do we? Because I think everything's been said. You decided I was unsuccessful and unfashionable. I let you believe that because your opinions didn't matter to me. I was too busy building something real to worry about whether you were impressed. We love you, Mom said desperately. Then you should have shown it when you thought I was a property manager making $50,000 a year. Love shouldn't be conditional on success. I left. Behind me, I could hear Chelsea sobbing and Mom trying to comfort her. I got in my practical Subaru and drove away from my $280 million real estate portfolio property. I spent the afternoon at my actual condo, which was indeed 2,000 square feet with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the river. I changed into comfortable clothes, ordered sushi, and worked on acquisition proposals for 2 new properties. Around 4 p.m., my phone started ringing. Dad. I didn't answer.
Mom.
Didn't answer. Chelsea. Definitely didn't answer. Aunt Linda called. I picked up. Morgan, what the hell happened at Riverside today? Chelsea arrived for her wedding at my venue. Your venue? Morgan, what is going on? Your mother called me hysterical, saying you own half the city and Chelsea didn't know, and there was some huge fight. I don't own half the city. Just 43 properties worth about $280 million. Silence. Then, you're worth $280 million? The properties are worth that. My personal net worth is about $95 million. And you never told anyone? You never asked, Aunt Linda. None of you did. You all assumed I was struggling because I don't waste money on luxury cars and designer clothes. Oh my God. Morgan, I live in one of your buildings? Harbor View Apartments, yes. I bought it 5 years ago. You're a good tenant, by the way. Always pay rent on time. She started laughing. Actually laughing. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. Your mother must be losing her mind. She looked pretty shocked when I left. Are you going to the wedding?
No.
I wasn't invited, remember? I'd ruin the aesthetic. Morgan. Aunt Linda, I appreciate the call, but I'm fine. Chelsea will have a beautiful wedding at my venue, funded partially by my money, photographed without me in any pictures. It's exactly what she wanted. You're hurt. I'm disappointed. There's a difference. After we hung up, I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb and went back to work. Sunday morning, I woke up to 43 missed calls and 27 voicemails. I made coffee and started listening. Mom's first voicemail from 4:17 p.m. Saturday. Morgan, please come back. Chelsea wants to talk to you. We all want to talk to you. This is her wedding day. We can't have it ruined like this. Chelsea, 4:52 p.m. Morgan, please. I'm so sorry. I was horrible to you. I don't know what I was thinking. Please come to the wedding. I want you here. I need you here. Dad, 5:23 p.m. Morgan, your mother is very upset. Chelsea is barely holding it together. Whatever point you were trying to make, you've made it. Now please come back and let's fix this as a family. Brandon, 6:14 p.m. Morgan, it's Brandon. I had no idea you owned Riverside. Or that you were successful. Chelsea told me you were just a property manager. I'm sorry for going along with uninviting you. That was wrong. Can we please talk? The messages continued through the evening and into Sunday morning. Around 11 p.m. Saturday, the tone shifted. Mom, 11:03 p.m. Morgan, the wedding was beautiful. Everything was absolutely perfect. The flowers, the food, the venue. Chelsea cried during the ceremony, and not just because she was happy. She kept looking for you. We all did. Thank you for making it beautiful, even though we didn't deserve it. Chelsea, 11:47 p.m. Morgan, I know you probably won't listen to this, but I need to say it anyway. Today should have been perfect, and in a lot of ways it was. But it was also the worst day of my life, because I realized what I'd lost. I've been a terrible sister. I judged you, dismissed you, excluded you. And the whole time, you were the most successful person in our family, the most generous person, the most everything. I don't know how to fix this, but I want to try.
Please call me.
Dad, Sunday 7:34 a.m. Morgan, I've been up all night thinking. I failed as a father. I let your mother and Chelsea treat you as less than, and I never questioned it. I never asked about your work or your life. I just assumed you were okay with being overlooked. I was wrong.
I'm sorry.
Please call me when you're ready. I deleted all the voicemails without responding to any of them. Monday morning, my assistant buzzed me at the office. Morgan, your sister is here. She doesn't have an appointment, but she says she'll wait as long as it takes.
I sighed.
How long has she been there? Since we opened at 8. It's now 10:30. Send her up. 5 minutes later, Chelsea walked into my office. She was wearing jeans and a sweater, casual, no makeup, hair in a ponytail. She looked exhausted. She stopped in the doorway, staring around. My corner office.
The view.
The artwork. The photos of my properties on the walls. Wow, she said quietly. Sit down, Chelsea. She sat in one of the visitor chairs across from my desk. She looked small, diminished. Thank you for seeing me. You've been in the lobby for 2.5 hours. I figured you'd earned 5 minutes. The wedding was beautiful. Everything was absolutely perfect. The food, the flowers, the venue. People said it was the most beautiful wedding they'd ever been to. I'm glad. But I couldn't enjoy it. Every beautiful moment reminded me that you made it possible. Every compliment reminded me that I'd uninvited you. Every photo reminded me that you weren't in them, because I thought you'd ruin the aesthetic. Chelsea, why are you here? To apologize. Really apologize. Not because you're successful, but because I was cruel. I judged you based on superficial things. I let Brandon judge you. I let Mom and Dad treat you as lesser. And I was wrong. Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Chelsea? That it's fine? That I forgive you? I'm not there yet. Maybe I won't ever be there. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. I understand. I just wanted you to know that I see it now. I see what I did. And I'm ashamed. Good. You should be. Can I ask you something? Go ahead. Why did you pay for part of my wedding? Why did you make everything perfect?
You could have sabotaged it.
You could have made me look foolish. I leaned back in my chair. Because you're my sister. And despite everything, I wanted you to have a beautiful wedding day. I wanted you to have those memories, those photos, that perfect aesthetic you worked so hard on. Not because you deserved it after how you treated me, but because somewhere under all the judgment and superficiality, you're still my little sister. She sobbed openly now. But Chelsea, here's what you need to understand. I didn't need your approval. I didn't need your validation. I built my success without you noticing or caring. And I would have continued building it whether you ever found out or not. Your opinion of me never mattered because I knew who I was. I know that now.
Do you?
Or are you just impressed because you found out I'm rich?
Both, she admitted.
I'm impressed by the money, yes. But I'm more impressed by the fact that you never flaunted it. You never made us feel small. You just quietly built this empire while we dismissed you. That takes strength I don't have. I studied her face. She looked genuine. Broken, maybe, but genuine. What do you want from me, Chelsea? A chance. Not now, maybe not for months. But eventually. A chance to be a real sister.
To know you.
To learn from you. To fix what I broke. That's going to take time. I know. I'll wait. She stood to leave, then turned back. Thank you for the wedding. It was perfect. Even though I didn't deserve your generosity. You're welcome. After she left, I sat in my office for a long time, looking out at the city. My assistant buzzed again. Morgan, your mother is here now. I closed my eyes. Of course she is. Give me 5 minutes, then send her up. Mom looked older when she walked into my office.
Tired.
Uncertain. She sat down without being invited. This is quite an office. Thank you. I didn't know you were this successful. I know. She looked at me for a long moment. I failed you, didn't I? The honesty surprised me. You let Chelsea and her priorities dominate every family interaction. You dismissed my career because it wasn't glamorous. You let her uninvite me from her wedding and agreed that she was right. So yes, you failed me. Mom's eyes filled with tears. I was intimidated by you. Intimidated? You were always so self-sufficient. So independent. You didn't need my approval or my help. Chelsea needed constant validation, constant support. It was easier to focus on her because she needed me. You didn't seem to need anyone. So, you decided I didn't deserve your attention? I decided I didn't know how to relate to you. Your success was in a world I didn't understand. Real estate, investments, corporate structures.
It was foreign to me.
Chelsea's life was simple, pretty pictures, social media, wedding planning. I could understand that. That's not an excuse, Mom. I know. It's an explanation. And it's not good enough. We sat in silence for a moment. The wedding was absolutely beautiful, Mom said finally. You made Chelsea's dream day possible. After she'd excluded you. She's still my sister. You're a better person than I am. I'm just someone who knows her own worth. And I don't need external validation to maintain it. Mom stood up. I don't know how to fix what I've broken, but I want to try. When you're ready. We'll see. After she left, I returned to work. I had 3 property viewings that afternoon and a board meeting in the morning. The calls kept coming. Dad. Brandon. Various family members who'd apparently just learned that the unsuccessful sister was actually worth $95 million. I ignored most of them. It's been 3 months since Chelsea's wedding. The relationship with my family is slowly, carefully rebuilding. Chelsea and I meet for coffee once a month. She doesn't talk about aesthetics or Instagram anymore. She asks about my work, real questions. She listens to the answers. Last month, she told me she'd quit the fitness studio and enrolled in real estate courses. I want to understand what you do, she said. Not to compete with you, but to understand you. It was something. Mom and I have dinner every few weeks. She's trying. She asks about my properties, my investments, my goals. She doesn't understand everything, but she's making an effort. Dad has been more distant, but he's working on it. He sent me a letter last month apologizing for failing to see the remarkable woman his daughter had become. Brandon sent me a gift basket with a note. Thank you for the most beautiful wedding venue. I'm sorry I didn't know you owned it. I'm sorrier I went along with excluding you. The most unexpected change has been Aunt Linda. She's become genuinely interested in my work. She asks questions about property investment, sits in on a few of my acquisition meetings. Last week she said, "You know, I have some money saved. Maybe you could teach me about investing." We're working on a small deal together. It's nice. Last week, Chelsea called me. "Morgan, I need advice." About what? Brandon and I are looking for a house. We've been renting, but we want to buy. And I realized, I don't know anything about real estate. I don't know how to evaluate a property or negotiate a price or any of it. And I was hoping maybe you could help. I smiled. I'd be happy to help. Really? Really? Send me the listings you're considering. I'll review them and we can discuss. Thank you. And Morgan. Yeah. I saw your interview in Business Weekly. The one about women in real estate investment. You looked beautiful. And powerful. And everything I was too stupid to see before. Chelsea. I mean it. I'm proud of you. I should have been proud of you all along. But I'm proud of you now. After we hung up, I pulled up the Business Weekly article. They'd photographed me in my office, professional but approachable. The headline, Morgan Morrison, building an empire one property at a time. The article detailed my journey from real estate analyst to CEO. It mentioned my $95 million net worth. It highlighted my focus on emerging neighborhoods and sustainable renovation. My family had shared it on social media. Mom's post said, "So proud of my daughter's incredible success. #blessed." I'd rolled my eyes at the hashtag, but I'd appreciated the sentiment. Chelsea had reposted it with, "My sister is a literal mogul, and I'm just now realizing how incredible she is. Better late than never." The comments were full of people asking why Chelsea was just now realizing this. She'd responded honestly, "Because I was shallow and judgmental and focused on all the wrong things. I'm learning. She's teaching me." It wasn't perfect. It wasn't a fairy tale reconciliation, but it was progress. This weekend, Chelsea and Brandon are coming to my condo for dinner. It'll be the first time they've seen where I actually live. Mom and Dad are coming too. A small family dinner. Low-key. No aesthetic requirements. I'm making pasta. Nothing fancy, just good food and conversation. Chelsea texted this morning, "What should I bring?
Wine?
Flowers? Anything?" Me, "Just bring yourself. That's enough." Chelsea, "Are you sure? I want to contribute." Me, "Chelsea, you being here is the contribution. You showing up, making an effort, trying to know me, that's what matters." Chelsea, "I love you, Morgan. I don't think I've said that enough." Me, "I love you too. And I meant it. Because here's what I've learned over the past 3 months. People can change. Not always and not completely, but sometimes enough. Chelsea will probably never understand real estate the way I do. Mom will probably never fully grasp the complexity of my work. Dad will probably always be a little uncomfortable with my success. But they're trying. And that's more than they did before. The sister who said I'd ruin her aesthetic now asks my advice on property investments. The mother who agreed I shouldn't attend now shares my business articles with pride. The family who dismissed me now makes an effort to know me. It's not perfect, but it's real. And that's better than any aesthetic.
The end.
Sometimes people need to see your success before they can value you. My family thought I was unsuccessful because I didn't fit their image of what success looked like. I own the venue where my sister got married while she was uninviting me from the wedding. The venue owner wasn't someone they hired. She was the sister they'd dismissed. I was always successful. They just weren't looking at the right things. Now they're learning to look deeper. To value substance over aesthetics. To understand that success isn't always visible from the outside. My sister wanted a perfect aesthetic wedding. I gave her one. But the real beauty wasn't in the flowers or the photos. It was in the lessons she learned when she discovered who actually owned it all. Sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just being exactly who you are while they finally figure out who that is.